As the play-in tournament wraps up, the playoffs are about to start, and some people think the Sixers have the easiest path to the NBA title. Let's dissect this right now. Hi guys, it's Devin Howard. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me there as @DevinHoward. Double check that you've subscribed to the Fumble, tap the bell for notifications, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Going into the 2020-2021 NBA season, everyone thought that the teams to beat were the Nets and the Lakers. The Nets have that super team roster working for them. It's hard to deny the pure power and capabilities they hold with Kyrie, KD, and James Harden on the roster. The Lakers are the reigning NBA champions, and they went into this season desperate to hold on to that title. Unfortunately, both teams did suffer a couple of injuries that proved to be difficult hurdles to overcome. While the Lakers and Nets are still completely in contention for the NBA title, a lot of people believe the Sixers are well on their way there. Basically, they're the team to beat. So let's look into why people feel that way. They currently hold the first place in the Eastern Conference. Now, admittedly, the East is less competitive than the West, but it's still a feat. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are playing with something to prove. Ben is 5 years into his NBA career, Joel is 7 years into his, and I think they're frustrated that they've never made it past a second playoff round. They've been championship contenders in the past, but this season could be theirs to take home. Maybe it's that pent-up disappointment. Maybe Doc Rivers has helped, but something changed for the team this year. We're seeing Ben and Joel play in a way that we really haven't seen before. They've just started to gel. Doc even commented on it saying, quote, "It doesn't surprise me that Ben and Joel could play together. Everything I'd heard before I came here was that they couldn't. And I kept saying, I don't understand that. Why would people think that? So I don't think it's a surprise. I just think they're doing what we asked them to do." I also think that Doc went in and loosened up expectations on Ben Simmons to shoot threes. Ben won't do it. He just won't. And we kind of have to accept that about him. And that's what Doc did. Instead of forcing him to attempt 1 3 per game, he highlighted Ben's other contributions to the team, labeled him a superstar, and gave him the confidence to make him a more effective player. And not to mention, Ben is actually surrounded by some very solid shooters. So even if he charges into the lane and isn't successful, he can quickly locate someone else who can make the shot. I think that they've done a really good job of maximizing the strengths of each player while minimizing all of their weaknesses. So going into the playoffs, they have this system down pat. It's really working for them. They could be the ones to take home the championship, and it's about time that happened. But here is where things get a little bit interesting. The betting community has very little confidence that the Sixers will win the title. So for people who like to gamble on these games, their number 1 seed standing is not holding much weight. And David Murphy from the Philadelphia Inquirer also diminished their game this season, saying this, quote, "Are they the best team in the field? No, they're probably not. They're a very good regular season team with one all-world player and a bunch of steady compliments. They cared more about winning in the regular season than most of their counterparts, and they took advantage of it. They beat the Nets in a pair of games in which Brooklyn was missing 2 of its 3 superstars. They beat the Heat in a couple of games in which Miami's best player was out." He went on to say, quote, "They played the second easiest schedule in the NBA and finished with the second best net rating in the Eastern Conference, and that was enough to win the most games. None of that gives us any reason to think that the Sixers are a dramatically different team from previous number 1 seeds that were really good at winning in the regular season and really bad doing it thereafter." Yikes, that's not the most confident take I've ever read. So what will be their biggest weakness going into the playoffs? ESPN thinks it's their scoring. Aside from the potential for injury, the Sixers have struggled to score late in games. And even though the team has done what they can to make up for Ben Simmons' lack of 3-point attempts, is that going to be enough? So I think a lot of the team's success is going to rely on that system that they've developed where they maximize each player's strengths while trying to minimize their weaknesses. But I also think that Joel Embiid is going to be carrying a lot of the weight. He's an MVP candidate this season, and he's been super dominant almost all season long, which has helped the team hold on to that number 1 seed. This is his chance to shine and to solidify his place among the elites. We'll see what happens. What do you guys think? Do the Sixers have the easiest run to the NBA title, or are they going to struggle and disappear in the postseason like we've seen in the past? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell. I'm Devin Howard for The Fumble, and I'll see you guys later.